guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be sharing all the books I read in August. I read quite a few. I read 10 books, which is absolutely insane because, as I mentioned in like previous videos, I've been in the fattest slump basically all summer. So like this is like the first time where I really read a lot of books, and I really don't even know how I read 10 books, but it really was a great reading month because I loved like basically every book I read, and I'm so excited to talk about them. First book I read is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I gave this book a 5 out of 5. Like I started the month off with like a bang because this book was so good. So it's a young adult book. It basically follows Cassie. Since she was born, she's had like this gift for profiling, and so she gets recruited by the FBI to join this program with 4 other teenagers, and they all have like their own gifts. But basically it's giving like Criminal Minds but with teenagers. Like they're helping the FBI profile and all that to find like serial killers and stuff. This book basically just follows Cassie as she joins the program, and right as she joins, there's like the serial killer that the FBI is trying to figure out, and the teens, like they all basically help find the serial killer. But this book, like it's hard to explain. It's very fast paced. Like there was never a dull moment, and there was just these insane plot twists that you would never expect. Like I literally had my jaw on the floor. The book is just so intriguing. Like I couldn't put it down. I literally read it in just one day, and like I said, the ending is just so insane. Like I definitely did not expect that, and I don't even know how Jennifer Lynn Barnes came up with this. It was just so crazy. And out of all the characters, I think Salome is my favorite. She's another one of the teens in the program, but she's just my favorite character, and she's just super bubbly and sweet, and I just love her so much. But I also like that this book, it has a subplot of romance, but that isn't the main focus, because like the main focus is on the mystery and like the thriller aspect of like who's the serial killer. And I feel like that made the book a lot better. Instead of focusing on the romance, it like focused on the mystery, and we still get to see parts of that romance. But like I said, this book is just a very fast-paced, intriguing book. It's a really fun and quick read, and I don't normally read a lot of thrillers or mysteries just because I get a little bored most of the time, but this one there was never a boring moment. It's really easy to read, and I love it so much. The next book I read is Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book in the Natural series. I give this a 4 out of 5. I still really enjoy this book a lot, and I like that we got to see more into the characters, especially Dean, because he's more of a closed off kind of guy. So in this book we see a lot more of like his past. I really like this book. It follows like another string of murders that the teens help the FBI with, but this one I feel like it wasn't as intriguing as the first book. First one, it really just kept me like on my toes, like the edge of my seat. This one I was still really intrigued, but it wasn't like the same exact feeling that I had reading the first one, where I just had to know what was happening. I still really enjoyed this one. I really like that we got to learn more about the characters, and the romance continues on into this book, which was really cool. But like the first book, this one had like the craziest plot twist. It's just so insane. Like I never really expected this. Like sometimes in some books you can tell what the plot twist will be, but for this one I like did not see it coming. But there are 2 other books I did not read yet, so I'm really hoping to read those soon because I love the series so much, and I feel like I'm already connected with the characters. I really love this series, and I can feel that like there's a found family like forming, and I really am interested to see more about that. The next book I read is The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. This is like the book that comes after the Off-Campus series. It's like the last one. It's basically just a giant epilogue because it has all the off-campus characters' point of view. The thing is, I really enjoyed seeing the characters from the Off-Campus series again because this is one of my favorite series ever. They're huge comfort books for me. The thing is, like this book, the characters felt different. Like they didn't feel like the characters that I've like read over and over again because I've reread the Off-Campus books so many times. They just felt different, and I feel like they just acted different. Like some of the stuff that was like said or done in these books, I feel like the characters would have never done, especially like after reading their own books. Like I feel like they would have never acted like that, but it was still interesting to read about like their life after college, and it's still very comforting to read about them. It just was not my favorite book, and I feel like the characters characters were just completely different. Next, I read The Predator by Runex. I don't even know if that's how you say the author's name. I've seen this book for like years and it's always like intrigued me because everyone always talks so highly about it. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really didn't like this book as much as I thought I would. This follows Morana. I don't even know how to say the character's name. Morana, I don't know, and Tristan, and it's supposed to be enemies to lovers, but honestly it didn't really feel like enemies to lovers. And this book is like supposed to have like a big mystery aspect. Like it starts off like with this huge mystery, and honestly like you don't really see the mystery aspect a lot. I feel like it was mainly focused on like the romance, but I feel like it shouldn't have been. I feel like the romance should have been more of a subplot, but the book felt so long and stretched out, but like a lot of it was just super like dragged out for no reason. I feel like literally nothing happened in that book. It had like the fattest cliffhanger, and honestly I don't even know if I want to read the next book. The first book was so long and I got so bored. Like it was so boring. Like literally nothing happened and I was like, what am I even reading right now? And it's a mafia book. They're like from like opposing like groups and stuff, so that's like what made it enemies to lovers. They like fell for each other like instantly, so I was like not really enemies to lovers. They were still a cute couple. It just felt really rushed. I didn't really feel like the connection between them. I feel like they just like really rushed into it, and I feel like we really like didn't even touch on like the mystery aspect of the book. Like that's supposed to be like the main plot, and I feel like we really didn't touch on it. But like overall it was still like a good book. It was very interesting and intriguing, but I feel like it was just really dragged out for no reason. But I just feel like it was overhyped. Like I really had high expectations and it just did not reach those expectations. Okay, next I read Twisted by Emily McIntyre. This is the 4th book I believe in the Never After series. I also gave this book 3.5 out of 5. This is an Aladdin reimagined. It has like similar like story to Aladdin, it's just reimagined, but I didn't enjoy this book as much as I enjoyed all the other books in the series. Like all the other books in the series are my favorite books ever. Like I gave them all 4 or 5 stars and I love them all so much so far. But with this one, I felt like this one, like what I was saying with The Predator, it felt very rushed and I feel like the story could have been better. This one follows Yasmin and Julian. Julian works for Yasmin's dad. Yasmin has to get married, but she can't marry the guy that she wants, so it's like an arranged marriage, but kind of like fake marriage with Julian just until her dad passes. But I feel like nothing really happened in this book until halfway through. Like the first half really was a bunch of nothing and it just felt like it wasn't needed. And like with the other books, I felt like everything was like good. Like a lot of stuff was happening throughout the books, but with this book it just wasn't as good as the other ones, and I didn't really connect with the characters that well. Like I honestly could care less what happened in the book. Like I didn't really care for the characters, you know. And it's supposed to be like enemies to lovers, but it really wasn't. I feel like they were enemies, like they really hated each other, but it just felt rushed. And I really did think that they were cute together. I just felt like it wasn't as rushed. I would have liked their relationship even more, and I feel like the story also could have been developed more because like I said multiple times, I literally said this so many times, but the story itself just felt rushed and it just was not my favorite. But I still read this like pretty fast. It just wasn't as intriguing as the other ones, and the plot twist on this one, I was able to see it from like miles away. Like right from the beginning I knew how it was gonna end. It was like an easy plot twist to see. But like the other books in the series, like the plot twists, like I never saw them coming. And I still enjoyed the book, but honestly I just expected a lot more, especially since the other books in the series were so good. I just expected a lot more. Then I read The Coven by Harper L. Woods. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I recently read this in a video where I read Anticipated Read, but this book, like it was so good. Like no one ever really talks about it, but I feel like it deserves more attention, more hype, you know. But basically this follows Willow and Gray. Willow is a witch who's been in hiding, so like none of the other witches know about her, and then Gray is a vessel, which is kind of similar to vampires, and he's the headmaster of this witch school. But basically Willow, her dad recruited tutored her. Like, she was raised to seek revenge on this school. So she goes to the school and she's basically trying to like follow out the plan of revenge, but there's like a lot more like happening in the book just besides that. Like, you find out a lot more stuff. Like, I really love this book because it was really fast paced and intriguing. Like, there really wasn't a dull moment. Like, there was always something happening. I really couldn't put the book down. Like, it had the craziest plot twist at the end. Like, the book is less than 300 pages. It's only like 285, but like so much happened in this book. And when I read that ending, I literally had my jaw on the floor because I did not expect that. Like, I really didn't expect that to happen. Like, I have to read the second book right away. The only reason why this book was not 5 stars was just because since it is shorter, the like romance part of it felt a lot more rushed, and also I feel like the story could have been explained a lot more better. It gets a little bit confusing. Like, there's like the history of the witches and like the coven and stuff, and I feel like it's touched on but it isn't explained in depth. And I feel like if we were able to know more about the history, a lot more things would make sense. And it also got confusing with all the different witches and all the different houses. Like, if all of that was explained more, the story would have made more sense. But like, the way it is now, it's still really amazing. Like, it's just a super quick read and it has the craziest plot twists and it's so good. Like, if it was longer, I feel like we could have seen more of Willow and Gray's relationship and like seen how they interact. They still were like a super cute couple, but I still can't get over the ending of the book. Like, I still think about it like every day since I've read it because it was just that insane. But overall, this was a really great book and that's why I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think this is one of my favorite books I read this month. But yeah, next I read All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because, as you know, MZ books just always hit. Every book that I've read from her, I'm pretty sure I've rated 5 stars. There is just something about her books that hit every single time, but this one follows Aurora. She recently went on a road trip after breaking up with like this boyfriend she had for like 14 years. So she wanted a fresh start and moves back to Colorado where she used to live with her mom before her mom passed. But this is a slow burn and I really enjoyed it. And so basically she moves into like this garage apartment that belongs to Rhodes, and at first they like hate each other and everything because it's like enemies to lovers kind of, because it's like a really strong dislike. But I really enjoyed this book. I feel like we really got to learn about the characters and like I really liked how much we got to see of the characters and like we got to learn a lot about them. I really like the single dad trope in it because normally with single dad tropes the kids are always like 6 or like really young, but in this one Amos is 16, so it's like a very different dynamic than the normal single dad trope. And I really liked the dynamic between Aurora and Amos because she was always there helping him out and it was just like the cutest relationship, and I really loved to see their relationship. But also I liked seeing the relationship between Rhodes and Amos because it was really cute to see the relationship, because Rhodes is like this big grumpy man and then Rhodes like is just this teenager, you know, but like Rhodes, like you can tell how much he loves his kid because like he goes soft for him, you know. But it was just really cute seeing their relationship. And also I loved how Colty was referenced because Colty is one of my favorite MZ books and he's mentioned in this book, and I was literally giggling and kicking my feet when I read that. This book also has like the forced proximity tropes and she's like living in the garage, and also has grumpy sunshine, it's single dad, like it has everything, enemies to lovers, like it has literally every trope that I love. It was really cute seeing how Rhodes was always there to help, support, and comfort Aurora even though he really disliked her. Like he really did not like her, but then he was always there helping her out, which was so cute. And they're like complete opposite people. Like Rhodes is just a grumpy man and then Aurora is like this sunshine bubbly person, and like even though they're complete opposites, I feel like they really balanced each other out. They really just like matched well, you know. But I really just loved this book so much overall. I literally loved like every second I read. Even though this was like a fat book, I really enjoyed every second, and the slow burn was just so good. And I feel like since this book was a lot longer, nothing was rushed, and I feel like I got to connect to the story and the characters really well, which is why I love the book so much. The next book I read is Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the 3rd book in the Maple Hills series. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. This follows Hallie and Henry. So Hallie just got broken up with, and so she's trying to figure out who she is, like do things that she loves, trying to figure out what those things are, because in this relationship she like wasn't really herself, you know. So she decides that she's gonna like write this book, and then she meets Henry and they kind of like make like a little deal. This book reminds me of The Deal by Elle Kennedy a lot, but I'll talk about that a little later. But so basically Henry and Hallie make a deal. Henry helps Hallie with her book by taking her on dates so she can get experiences to write for her book. And then Hallie helps Henry because he has this professor and he's struggling, and she had the professor before, so she helps him with his assignments and stuff. Basically, this is a friends to lovers, and it was just a really cute book overall. It was more of a fluffy romance read than like a deep, you know, read. The characters still had a lot of issues and I liked how relatable they were, but I feel like it wasn't like too deep or anything. It was like a lot more of a fluffy read, but it was still really cute and I really enjoyed it. I really liked how there was not any like miscommunication in this book. They were really good at explaining like their feelings and thoughts with each other, and I really like that because I really hate miscommunication in books. Like, miscommunication is literally the worst, and they're just the cutest couple. They really match each other well, and they're like always there for each other and always supporting each other. Like, Henry is literally the big boyfriend. He's the standard. Like, throughout this whole book I was like, oh my gosh, like where is my Henry at? Like, he's literally the standard, and I just enjoy them together so much. I read this really fast, and I think this is my favorite book out of the whole series so far, and I really just love the found family in this series in general. Like, all of the books, you really see how close and tight-knit their friendship group is and how they're always there for each other, and I just really enjoyed it. Such a comforting book, such a comforting series in general. This book does remind me of The Deal a lot, how they help each other with their like issues, like the book and the professor and stuff, but then also like the friends to lovers, and just the way that they interact with each other reminds me of Garrett and Hannah, and that's like The Deal's like one of my favorite books ever. It really reminds me of that. I really enjoyed it a lot. The next book I read is The Chase by Elle Kennedy. This is the first book of the Briar U series, which is a spin-off of the Off Campus series. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I just feel like it wasn't the best book I've ever read. It was really cute still. It follows Summer, which is Dean's sister, and Fitz. So basically Summer like needs a place to live because she transferred schools and stuff, so she moves into the townhome that Fitz lives in with the other teammates, which is Hollis and Hunter. But Summer has always had a thing for Fitz, and like he always like turns her down, you know. But then she moves in, so it's like forced proximity, and Hunter, their other roommate, also has a thing for Summer. So then like Fitz and Summer like hiding their feelings for each other kind of, and it's more of like a friends to lovers because it's just them like growing closer, because then Fitz like helps her with assignments and stuff, and it was just really cute. This book would have been better with more tension between the characters, and I don't know, I just feel like it needed a little bit more. It was still a really good read. I literally read 75% of this in one sitting. Like, I don't even know how I did that because normally I cannot read a book for like that long, but I literally started it. It was like 9 p.m. like I just read it straight, and when I went to bed I was literally 75% through, and I was like, that's literally insane. But it was like a really quick fun read. I really didn't have to put a lot of thought into it, and it was still cute. Like, I really love Fitz and Summer. Like, The Chase was just a really quick fun read. Like, there really wasn't much to it, but I still really enjoyed it. And then the last book I read this month is The Risk by Elle Kennedy. This is the second book in the Briar U series. This one follows Brenna and Jake. I actually like this book a lot more than The Chase. So this one follows Brenna. She is Coach Jensen's daughter, which is the coach of the Briar hockey team, but then Jake is the captain of the Harvard hockey team. So it's like enemies to lovers. Like, they're like literal enemies because like their teams are rivals. But this one, it has like a lot more to it. There's like a lot more tension in it, obviously, because like they're rivals and stuff, but there's also like a fake dating aspect in it. And this one is also just like a fluffier romance read that isn't like too deep or anything, but I really just enjoy this a lot more than The Chase, just because there was a lot more tension in this book than the other one. I really enjoyed reading how they were always there for each other, even though like they dislike each other. They were always there to support each other and help each other out when they needed it. And I just thought that Brenna and Jake were just the cutest couple ever. Like, I really enjoyed just reading about them, and I really just love Brenna's character in general. Like, she's such a girl boss, and I really love her character so much. But I really just enjoyed this book because it was like a really fun quick read. Like, I really did not have to think too much. Like, I was just able to read it and enjoy it. But those are all of the 10 books I read this month. I really enjoyed all the books I read. I'm so happy I was able to read a lot of good books this month. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Bye.